Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on the glories of Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī. His Tirobhav Tithi is just coming up, and we are all known as Rūpanuga Vaishnavas. So it is imperative that we know about Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī and we understand the unique position, the unique contribution of Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī. Special thanks to Janeshwar Gauranga Prabhu and Sharanga Prabhu for giving me this opportunity. So let's get started. And also before we start, my sincere apologies for having to cancel the class last time. I was in Washington and I thought I would be able to find the time, but somehow just schedule got went haywire and I just couldn't make it. So my sincere apologies. So let's get started. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rūpa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rūpam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Akanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Pranamami Hari Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nitya Shri Advaita Gadādhara Śrīvāsādi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So dear devotees, the disappearance day of Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī is coming up. So today we will be speaking about the glories of Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī. Janeshwar Gauranga Prabhu had asked me to continue speaking on the glories of Shri Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj, and I wanted to do that. But since Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī's Tirobhav Tithi is coming, let's prepare our hearts, let's prepare ourselves to worship Shri Rūpa Goswāmī in the most fitting way, because this is the Rūpanuga Dhara, this is the Rūpanuga Sampradaya, so that we can please Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī and all our Rūpanuga Acharyas to the best of our ability. That is the perfection of our life, if we can please our Acharyas. Whatever classes, Hari Katha, we have in this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, whatever temples we have, whatever centers we have where we do prachar, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya Deshatharine. So whatever prachar we do, it is given to us by our most revered and most beloved founder Acharya. Om Vishnupad Paramhams Parivrajaka Shtottara Shata Shri Srimad Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It is by the blessings of Śrīla A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, that we are here together. Otherwise, I would not have known Sharanga Prabhu. I would not have known Amarinda Prabhu. I would not have known Janeshwar Gauranga Prabhu, Ishwari Radha Mataji, Kokila Mataji, Kasturi Manjari Mataji, Parsanaji. I would have known none of you. We would not have known each other, isn't it? If it was not for Srila Prabhupada, we would be like other people in America, coming here, making dollars, and having comfortable lifestyle, planning next vacation, and basically eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Ahar, Nidra, Bhai, Maithun. That would be the story of our life. But by Srila Prabhupada's really Ahetuki Kripa, causeless mercy, Srila Prabhupada's diligent hard work, Srila Prabhupada's unfathomable compassion, we have got Rūpanuga Bhakti. We have been connected to Srila Rūpa Goswāmī. Srila Prabhupada has a very intimate connection with Srila Rūpa Goswāmī. Srila Prabhupada once revealed to one of his disciples that when Srila Prabhupada was doing his bhajan in Shridham Vrindavan, in Shri Shri Radha Damodar Mandir, right next to the Samadhi Mandir and the bhajan kutir of Srila Rūpa Goswāmī, Srila Prabhupada revealed that one day Srila Rūpa Goswāmī gave his darshan to Srila Prabhupada. I heard this from one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada on YouTube in Prabhupada Memories. This disciple of Srila Prabhupada was revealing that Srila Prabhupada revealed to one of his disciples that Srila Rūpa Goswāmī appeared to me one day in Radha Damodar temple. And Srila Prabhupada said that Rūpa Goswāmī is ever present in Radha Damodar temple. Shri Rūpa Goswāmī is ever present in his bhajan kutir. Srila Rūpa Goswāmī is ever present in his Samadhi Mandir. And Rūpa Goswāmī told me, Maharaj, Prabhupada was called Swami Maharaj, Maharaj, you should not wait any longer and you should not worry any longer. Just go all around this world and preach the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In English, we use the word preach, but actually the word preach is not a very good word, because preach has many different connotations to it. There are the evangelist preachers. Our dhara is quite different. There are the Christian preachers, Muslim preachers. There are preachers of all sorts. There are atheistic preachers. There are agnostic preachers. There are preachers of all sorts. But really, our dhara, the Rūpanuga dhara, the word preach does not do justice to what our family business is. It is prachar, not preach. Because preaching sometimes can be done in a condescending way also. But that is not the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or any of his followers headed by Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī. Ours is a line of prachar. Gauravani pracharine. Prachar. And prachar comes from achar. Prachar is an external manifestation of internal achar. Achar means bhajan, to practice, to cry for Radha and Krishna. Unless one is performing bhajan, one cannot preach. One cannot preach. Srila Prabhupada wrote books, isn't it? Srila Prabhupada gave classes. Every day Srila Prabhupada would give class. And what was Srila Prabhupada doing? In English we call it preaching. Prabhupada says preaching is the essence. So Prabhupada was preaching through his books, book distribution, through his lectures, through his room conversations, through meeting so many guests, on morning walks, to Dr. Patel in Mumbai, in Juhu. Prabhupada was preaching. But please, my dear friends, think. We are given Prabhupada's book. We hear Prabhupada's lectures. Srila Prabhupada is our founder Acharya. My question is, would our hearts open up to Srila Prabhupada the way they do if Srila Prabhupada did not go through all the difficulties that he went through? Now imagine a situation. Srila Prabhupada has a successful business in India, Prayak pharmaceutical business, like Janeshwar Gaurang Prabhu. So Prabhupada has a pharmacy. Srila Prabhupada makes profit in his business, has a printing press, and publishes books and sends them all over the world. Same books that we read. They are coming from a person called A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And Prabhupada sends his cassettes and audio recordings of his classes all over the world, sitting in India, or let's say even sitting in New York. Srila Prabhupada is comfortably sitting as a grahastha. He has his business, he has a comfortable house, he has his typewriter, and he's printing books. He's a successful businessman. By Krishna's mercy, he has made a lot of profits. He's like the Tatas and Birlas of India, a lot of money. And he's a pure devotee, and he's preaching comfortably, distributing books, giving classes, sending his audio recordings. Will our heart melt? Will the hippies become happies? No, because that is just preaching. But Srila Prabhupada was not just a preacher. Gauravani pracharine. Prabhupada did prachar, and prachar can be done only by one who has achar. Without achar, there is no prachar. Because Srila Prabhupada chanted 64 rounds all his life. Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj writes in his book, TKG Diary, all his life Srila Prabhupada chanted 64 rounds. Because Srila Prabhupada was a pure devotee, and not for one moment he forgot the lotus feet of Radha Govinda from his childhood. Because Srila Prabhupada was born to a pure devotee, Shri Gaur Mohan De. Because Srila Prabhupada was a duly initiated disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Because Srila Prabhupada so honestly, with such integrity, served his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and his god brothers. As an honest grahastha, he gave donations. He tried to start Back to Godhead magazine because his spiritual master instructed him, inspired him to write in English language. Because Srila Prabhupada gave up family life, became a Vanaprastha. Because Srila Prabhupada would chant, hardly sleep, work on his typewriter, translating Srimad Bhagavatam and giving elaborate purports, reading from the Ashtatika, version of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam with 8 prominent tikas of acharyas like Sanatan Goswāmī, Jiva Goswāmī, Chakravarti Pad, Shripad Vallabhacharya, and others, Veer Raghavacharya, Sridhar Swami. Srila Prabhupada carried that book everywhere with him. Ashtha Tika, 8 tikas on Srimad Bhagavatam. And he was typing it, manually typing it. Then going from Vrindavan to Mathura to Delhi, and trying to print those magazines and hand distribute them in the hot sun of New Delhi and Old Delhi, and getting a sunstroke, a heat stroke. Srila Prabhupada faints. He collapses on the streets of Delhi. Nobody knows him. This is called bhajan, my dear friends. To chant 64 rounds, to sleep for less than 2 hours, day and night, be immersed in the rasa, in the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam, and for our benefit, render Bhagavatam for the first time in the history of this world in English language. Never before it had. Nobody attempted to do that. To come up with vocabulary like deity worship and transcendental, all these things for our benefit, because that's the language we think in, that's the language we speak, that's the language we were educated in. The vast majority of the population of this world, English. And because his Gurudev had ordered him. Such sincere sadhana, Vrajvas, not leaving Vrindavan, completely giving up all comforts and luxuries, giving up the security of Grihastha Ashram. Grihastha Ashram may be tough. So many false egos living in one house. Husband, wife, parents, in-laws, children. Yeah, it may be difficult. But Grihastha Ashram is comfortable and it provides a lot of security. There is room for error. Even if we make mistakes, nobody knows. We can hide it and we are sheltered. But not so in the other 3 ashrams, because they are the ashrams of renunciation. To give up the comfort of family life, such a risk. Srila Prabhupada had no disciples, no one to support him. This is bhajan, my dear friends. This is Sharanagati. Because Srila Prabhupada went through such and demonstrated such exemplary achar, Srila Prabhupada's prachar had potency. That is the point. Only one who has the foundation of strong achar, that devotee's prachar will have potency of Krishna. And that will cause transformation in the hearts of the whole world. We are all here together today because of Srila Prabhupada. So many people have gone back to Godhead. So many people have gone to Golok Vrindavan. And so many devotees will continue to go to Golok Vrindavan because of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada personifies achar and prachar. So Srila Prabhupada appears as an ordinary person. He is not very tall. He got old. He required a walking stick. He needed to go to a dentist. He had those golden crowns on some of his teeth. Srila Prabhupada's hair, they went grey. Srila Prabhupada had wrinkles. Srila Prabhupada would get tired. He had joint pains. Yes, he required a massage. He would go for morning walks because he had heart attack in the past. For cardiovascular health, he would go for morning walk to get his exercise. We go through all these things also. So how can we accept that Srila Prabhupada was sent by Krishna? How do we accept that Srila Prabhupada is an acharya? That Srila Prabhupada is a Nitya Siddha Bhakta? That Srila Prabhupada is Mahaprabhu Senapati Bhakta? Papi jabe dharma chhadi dure deshe jaye, mora senapati bhakta jaibe tathaye. How can we know that he is Mahaprabhu's mora senapati bhakta? Srila Prabhupada could have been born in a very rich family, very successful business. His servants, his associates didn't have to cheat him and steal all his wealth. He could have been very successful. If Krishna can give wealth to Tatas and Birlas and Ambanis, why Krishna cannot give wealth to Srila Prabhupada, who is a sold out, completely surrendered devotee of Krishna, pure devotee of Krishna? Krishna could have given, but Krishna did not give. Because when Krishna gives, that is mercy. When Krishna takes, That is the greatest mercy. That is the greatest mercy. When we have a comfortable life, well, that is Krishna's mercy, so we can do bhajan. But when we go through crisis and calamity, when we go through pain and suffering and anxiety and heartbreak, when we cry tears of pain, that is supreme mercy. That is supreme mercy. Having a comfortable life, having good health, long life, good wealth, success, reputation, that is Krishna's mercy. One devotee had illicit sex. He was burning with guilt. He told his Gurudev, Gurudev, this is what I did. Gurudev said, it is Krishna's mercy that nobody knows about this, because you are an initiated devotee. Hare Krishna. He bowed down. Few days later, everyone found out. And everybody was criticizing him. He was told to step down from his position and everything. Again, he went to his Gurudev. Gurudev said, that was mercy, but this is supreme mercy. This is supreme mercy. Now you will be really humble. Now you have no one to turn to. Everyone who was respecting you is now spitting in your face. Yes. Now you will become Trinada Pisunichana. Now you will become Amanina Manadena. Now everybody knows what you are. Now you are not expecting any respect. You don't expect anybody will do Dandavat Pranam to you. Earlier you were expecting, when I walk into a room, everybody will do Dandavat Pranam. Now you know what you have done. Everybody knows what you have done. You don't expect anybody to offer you respect. Now you have become Amani. And now you are seeing other devotees are following the 4 regulative principles. They are better situated. So you are offering respect to them. Now you have become Mandena. This is Krishna's supreme mercy. When we suffer, it is Krishna's supreme mercy. When we are comfortable, it is ordinary mercy. Krishna put Srila Prabhupada through all these trials and difficulties. His money was stolen. He was cheated in his business. His wife was unfavorable. One of his child was a special needs child, had very severe mental, intellectually challenged child. Srila Prabhupada had a very tough Grihastha ashram, my dear friends. It was not easy. Prabhupada never spoke about it. But when his associates were interviewed later on, they revealed Prabhupada had a tough life, very tough life. Very, very tough life. And all the time, Srila Prabhupada was crying and burning because he wanted to join his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Very desperately, Srila Prabhupada wanted to be a brahmachari sannyasi, serving with his guru, under his guru, making the mission of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada his own mission. But he was stuck with 3 children and a wife and old father. For years. But Krishna put Srila Prabhupada through all this grind to show what is achar. What is achar? What is bhajan? Despite all these responsibilities to go to Mayapur as frequently as his work would allow him, Srila Prabhupada would make excuses to find some business trip to Calcutta. And whenever he used to go to Calcutta, he would go to Mayapur. 5 hours drive in those days. And he would go to Advaita Acharya, Advaita Bhavan, and cry. Chant there, cry. He would go to Yoga Peeth. He would go to the Samadhi Mandir of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and cry. Srila Prabhupada's whole life was crying alone in the wilderness, as Srila Satsvarup Das Goswāmī Maharaj writes, crying alone in the wilderness. This is achar. Only one who has done achar can do prachar, my dear friends. That brings us to the life of Srila Rūpa Goswāmī. Srila Rūpa Goswāmī could have stayed in his opulent, luxurious bungalow in Ramkeli and written books there. He could have written Hansadut, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Ujjwal Neelamani, Vidagdha Madhav, Lalita Madhav. He could have written them. Lalita Madhav, our Sharan Prabhu's good wife. Srila Rūpa Goswami could have written them sitting in his palace in Ramkeli. But no. Srila Rūpa Goswami had 22 lakh gold coins. And each gold coin was 54 grams. How much? 54 grams. Not 1 tola, 2 tola. 54 gram pure gold coin. And he had 22 lakh such gold coins. 22 lakh. 1 lakh is 100,000. That was the fabulous wealth of Rūpa and Sanatan Goswami. Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik. Dabir Khas means Khas. He was the principal secretary, personal secretary of Nawab Hussain Shah. He was like a king. Dabir Khas, Rūpa Goswami. And Sakar Malik means he ruled the whole Sarkar. He was like the prime minister. Sanatan Goswami. Mandalapati. They were very rich, like mini kings. But they lost everything. Srila Rūpa Goswami gave 50% of his wealth to the Brahman Vaishnavas, 25% for family emergencies, and 25% he kept with a grocer for the release of Sanatan Goswami, teaching us how 50% we are supposed to donate, at least. But the path that Srila Prabhupada has taught us, it is a path that every penny is for Krishna. 100% wealth should be used in Krishna's service. Whether we buy food, we offer it to Krishna. We have a house, that house is a mandir of Krishna. So then we are paying the utility bills, electricity bill. Yes, it's all for Krishna. It's Krishna's mandir ka bill hai. It is not money we are paying for our house. I have seen so many times how Krishna works. How Krishna works. He comes in like a needle and then spreads everywhere. Spreads everywhere. Many times I have seen devotees. They come to Krishna consciousness through one class. Somehow they join some class. And they come to Krishna consciousness. And then slowly, Krishna just takes over their life. And that one class, then the whole life becomes Krishna conscious. All the walls in the house have photos of Krishna. All vacations are New Vrindavan and Gita Nagari and Vrindavan Dham in India and Mayapur Dham and Jagannath Puri Dham. All social events are satsangs and Sunday feasts and Jhulan Yatras and book distribution, temple picnic. Krishna takes over. There's nothing else left. The devotee is finished. The material life is finished. That is how Krishna is. So Rūpa Goswami gave up everything. That Rūpa Goswami who used to wear silk garments is now wearing the discarded cloth of a simple Brajbasi. Not a usable cloth. A cloth that is simple, and Brajbasis are very simple people. Especially in those days, very simple villagers. Cloth that was discarded by the Brajbasis. Rūpa and Sanatan would use as their only cloth to cover their body. That was the extreme degree of their renunciation. Rūpa and Sanatan Goswamis. That Rūpa and Sanatan Goswami who would eat in golden plate. Now, they had a little plate made from Vrajraj. You take Vrajraj, you make it wet, and you heat it in the fire. It sets, becomes hard. So they used to eat in a plate made of vraj. So when they would eat that little roti or some sabji, they would eat vraj with it, the holy dust of Vrindavan. That Rūpa and Sanatan Goswami, who used to sleep on a golden bed, a bed made of pure gold in their mansion. Now they don't even have a fixed tree to sleep under, different trees every night. And they were desperate for this lifestyle. They had 22 lakh gold coins. They had a palace. The 22 lakh gold coins was not their entire wealth, my dear friends. That was just a liquid cash. In those days, there was no paper currency. Their liquid assets were 22 lakh gold coins, each gold coin 54 grams. But they had palaces, they had servants, they had golden plates to eat, they had elephants, they had horses, they had cows, they had fabulous wealth, Rūpa and Sanatan Goswami. And this is the lifestyle that they were crying and praying for. Where they wear the tattered, discarded clothes of the Brajbasis, they sleep under different trees and they eat in an earthen plate. That also madhukari. Not that they had a kitchen. Madhukari. Whatever a Brajbasi will give them, that's what they will eat. Why? Because this lifestyle was a lifestyle given to them by their Ishtadev, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu told them, Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Prem, Seva Pravartan, Lupta Tirtha Uddhara or Vairagya Shikshan. Krishna Bhakti, write books about Krishna Bhakti. And Śrīla Rūpa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami wrote so many books, which is the foundation of Śrīla Prabhupada's purports. It is the foundation of our spiritual life. Rūpa and Sanatan Goswamis. What literatures they wrote for all of us. But will those literature have the transforming effect if Rūpa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami did not go through the achar? You see, Rūpa and Sanatan Goswami are doing prachar through their books. Gauravani pracharine. What is Gauravani? Gauravani manifested through the pen of Rūpa and Sanatan Goswami. It is described how they would make paper. They would hand make paper. They would take the discarded cloth of a Brajbasi or certain leaves from the trees, dried leaves. They would take cow dung. And if someone gave them rice in Madhukari, they would not eat the rice. They would make a paste of the rice. They would mix all these to give a sheen to the paper. They would mix all these things together, beat them, make it into thin paper, dried under the sun. And that's how they handmade paper. From mixture of cow dung, cloth, certain leaves, and rice. They did not buy basmati rice bags, 20-pound bags from Indian store. Little rice some Brajbasi would give. Instead of eating, they would use it to make paper. Hare Krishna, think about that. 2 lakh names, 128 rounds every day. That takes 10 to 12 hours at least every day. They would hardly sleep, and their sleep was not sleep. Their sleep would be Bhagavatik Nidra, which means even in their sleep, they would dream about Mahaprabhu. They would dream about Radha and Krishna. Bhagavatik Swapna. That is Yoga Nidra. And within an hour, hour and a half, they would get up. And they would do Vrindavan Parikrama. They would do Govardhan Parikrama. They would sit and write. And there was no light at night, my dear friends. So they had to write their books in the daytime. And they would chant all night because they had to do 2 lakh. Hari Bol. This is Achar. And therefore, the books of Śrīla Rūpa Goswami and Śrīla Sanatan Goswami and all our Goswamis, all our Acharyas, they have the power for prachar. Because there is a solid, strong, unshakable foundation of Achar. Śrīla Raghunath Das Goswami's Achar was like the lines in the stone. Cannot wash them away. Cannot wash them away. Therefore, my dear friends, we have to focus on achar and prachar, both. There is so much to say. This was just the introduction. The glories of Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī. We didn't even get into his charitra, his beautiful life story. How they came to Vrindavan, what they did in Vrindavan, their different manifestations of Leela that they experienced, what they wrote in their books. We didn't discuss all that. But let's sing Shri Rūpa Manjari Pada and we'll conclude the class. This is written by Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur. Shri Rūpa Manjari Pada Sei Mora Sampada Sei Mora Bhajana Pujana Sei Mora Pranadhana Sei Mora Abharana Sei Mora Jivanera Jivana Sei Mora Rasanidhi Sei Mora Vancha Siddhi Sei Mora Vedera Dharama Sei Brata Sei Tapa Sei Mora Mantra Japa Sei Mora Dharama Karama Anukula Habe Vidhi Se Pade Habe Siddhi Nirakhibo Edui Nayane Se Rūpa Madhuri Rashi Prana Kuvalaya Shashi Prafullita Habe Nishidine Tuva adarshana ahi Garale jaralo dehi Chirodina tapito jivana Haha Rūpa korodoya Deho more pada chaya Narottama lo elo sharana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Just quickly read the meaning. Please listen carefully, my dear friends. This is the most important part of the class. Please listen carefully. Shri Rūpa Manjari Pada Sei Mora Sampada Sei Mora Bhajana Pujana. Shri Rūpa Manjari Pada Sei Mora Sampada. Shri Rūpa Goswāmī's lotus feet are my everything. Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakhyaras, Vatsalyaras, Madhuryaras. And within Madhuryaras, Srimati Radharani's camp is special. Then again, there are so many gradations of Radha Sakhis. There is also the class of Manjaris, the younger girls. And they have more freedom to approach Shri Radha Govinda. When Radha and Govinda are in union in a private environment, the Manjaris can still approach them. They have such freedom to visit them. If any materials of service are necessary, the Sakhis send the Manjaris to that place. The Sakhis do not approach there. In that way, the Manjaris enjoy the best confidence. You see, Manjari is the inflorescence of a plant. It is the inflorescence that attracts the honeybee, Brahmar. And Krishna is what? Krishna is the black honeybee. So who attracts Krishna? Who attracts the Brahmar, the black honeybee, to the plant, it is the inflorescence, the manjari of the plant. So it is the manjaris who attract Krishna. And Shri Radha is like the lotus flower. Shri Radha is like the lotus flower. And then Krishna comes and tastes the nectar of the lotus flower, the honey of the lotus flower, giving great joy to the honey. But the Brahmar is attracted by the manjaris. What does that mean? It is the manjaris who decorate the Nikunja. This seva of decorating the Nikunja of Vrindavan, where Radha and Krishna are going to have their pastime, whether it is Raslila at night or whether it is the pastimes as Radha Kund in the afternoon, it is the manjaris who prepare everything. And Krishna gets attracted. Oh, the manjaris have made such tasteful, nice arrangements. Let me go. And Radharani also is there. And then there is Radha Krishna Yugala Milan in the Nikunja. But who prepares the Nikunja? It is the manjaris. And who are the manjaris? They are our Guru Parampara, our Acharyas. Therefore, Nikunjayo no ratikeli siddhe yayali bhir yuktirapekshaniya tatradi daksha dati vallabhasya vande guru shri charanaravindram. It is a manjari upasana dhara. Rupanuga sampradaya. Srila Prabhupada says we are Rupanuga Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And Rūpa Goswāmī is Rūpa Manjari. Sanatan Goswāmī Lavanga Manjari. Raghunath Das Goswāmī Rati Manjari. So all our acharyas, they are manjaris. And this is Manjari Upasana that Srila Narottam Das Thakur is talking about. Especially in his song Radha Krishna Pranamor Yugala Kishore. Whatever in that bhajan Srila Narottam Das Thakur is describing, that is all Manjari Seva. So this is the special position of the manjaris. The most secret service of both can be supplied through the manjaris. Radha and Krishna's secret service. We are the secret service of Radha and Krishna. The transcendental secret service. Not the secret service of the White House, but the secret service of Radharani's Mahal. In the highest position, they have free entrance, and their leader is Shri Rūpa Manjari. Shri Rūpa Goswāmī in Gaur Leela. Shri Rūpa Manjari in Krishna Leela. She is understood to be the leader of the whole group of younger girls, the Manjaris, and therefore Madhurya Bhajan. In Madhurya Bhajan, she is the all in all because she is the leader of all Manjaris. This has been taught to us by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. For us, the younger batch, the Manjaris, for the Manjaris, Shri Rūpa Manjari, Shri Rūpa Goswāmī is the highest resort. Sei Mora Sampada, Sei Mora Bhajana Pujana. Sei Mora Sampada means she is my wealth. The lotus feet of Rūpa Goswāmī is my wealth. Sei Mora Bhajana Pujana. My worship, my service, everything is Rūpa Manjari. Sei Mora Pranadhana, Sei Mora Abharana. She is my wealth. She is the essence of my life. And Abharana, she is my ornaments. Rūpa Manjari is the ornament of my life. If there is anything, then it is her grace that I want. Sei Mora Jivanera Jivana. My life of my life, the very life of my life is Shri Rūpa Manjari. I exist for the pleasure of Shri Rūpa Manjari. So actually this is a very beautiful bhajan, devotees. But His Holiness Devamrit Swami Maharaj is here and he's going to give the Sunday feast class. So we have to go to the temple. I would love to read the whole bhajan, but I will stop. You can read it yourself. Srila Prabhupada has given it to us in our Vaishnava songbook. So unfortunately, I'll not be able to take any questions. But because Shama Kumari Mataji has raised her hand, we'll take just one question. Mataji, you can ask 1 second. Ask to unmute. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for such an amazing class. I have a quick question, Prabhuji. As you said that Rūpa Manjari is the head of all the Manjaris. So I was wondering, then Ananga Manjari jo hai, wo bhi kya Rūpa Manjari ji ke hi under hai ya?
So our acharyas, they say that Ananga Manjari is a Manjari and Ananga Manjari is not a Manjari also. Because Manjaris are maid servants. How can Radharani's sister be a maid servant? So like that. But among the Ananga Manjari is Balramji, and among the Kaya Vyuha, of Radharani. The Rūpa Manjari, Rati Manjari, they manifest directly from the body of Radharani. They are not jivas like us. Rūpa Manjari is not a jiva like us. She is a kaya vyuha of Radharani. This is explained in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and also in Jaiva Dharma. So yes, so Ananga Manjari also is very special. But as far as the Manjari Seva is concerned, because Rūpa Manjari manifests directly from Srimati Radharani, Rūpa Manjari is the leader of everyone. And Ananga Manjari is that she instructs the new devotees who just enter the Nikunja Leela in their eternal service. She gives them their service, she trains them. And Ananga Manjari is at the heart of Radha Kund. Her Baithak is in the center of Radha Kund. And she's like Guru Tattva to all of us, Ananga Manjari, being a manifestation of Balramji. She is Janava Devi in Gaur Leela. Ananga Manjari is Janava Devi, the Shakti of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is Balram. And Rūpa Manjari is Rūpa Goswāmī. So when Janava Devi came, everyone accepted her. When she came to Vrindavan, all the Goswamis accepted her as their leader. They accepted Janava Devi as their leader because she is the Shakti of Nityananda Prabhu. So that's why some acharyas say that Ananga Manjari, although her name is Ananga Manjari, she's actually a gopi because she's the younger sister of Srimati. How can Radharani accept her own sister as a maid servant? Like that. So.
Yes. And Prabhuji, would it be, am I correct in my understanding that Shri Rūpa Manjari, is she under Lalita Sakhi?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. But in terms of intimacy of service, Shri Rūpa Manjari is, if I may say so, she is even greater than Lalita Sakhi. For us at least. Shri Rūpa Manjari is even more intimately serving Srimati Radharani than Lalita Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi also is Kaya Vyuha. She is also manifesting, Lalita Vishakha Sakhi, they are also manifesting directly from the body of Shri Radha. But that is in the Sakhi Swarup. And Rūpa Manjari is in the Manjari Swarup. And in terms of intimacy, the personal servant is more intimate than a friend. Friend aate jate rehte hain, but maid servant is always there. 24/7 duty. So in terms of intimacy, it is Rūpa Manjari who performs even more intimate service than the Sakhis, including Lalita Sakhi. But still, the Manjaris are always under the guidance of, they perform their service under the guidance of the Sakhis. Therefore, Lalita, Vishakha, Ādi, Jata Sakhi Brinda, Agyaya Puribo Seva. So the Manjaris serve under the Sakhis, but Manjaris do Seva that even the Sakhis cannot do. Because they are so, they're younger in age. Radharani feels more comfortable with the Manjaris. Radharani, she punishes the Manjaris, and then when she's pleased, she will take her Adharamrit and she will put it in the mouth of a Manjari also. So like that. Okay?
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Rūpa Manjari ki jai. Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī. Shri Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Prem.
Hare Hare. His Grace Ādi Gadādhara Prabhuji ki jai.